Welcome in to another edition of the Cavalier Connection, coming live and direct tonight from Chesapeake and West Point, Virginia. I'm Jeff, joined by Jack and Jay. How's everybody doing tonight?
West Point's doing great. We're ready to get some UVA baseball underway tomorrow. Valentine's Day, season of love.
Right. You got any snow on the ground still?
The snowmen are standing if they were built to last, but other than that, it's all gone.
UVA had
snowmen around.
UVA had that nice snowball fight.
Barstool UVA, shout out to them. That was incredible. That was thousands of students at the O Hill for that. That was good.
I see injuries happening there.
Yeah, I'm glad the baseball team was in Puerto Rico because I don't want to see arms being thrown out during the snowball fight.
You don't want Jay Woolfolk apart killing somebody off the head with a snowball?
No.
And if you're on the receiving end of one of those from one of the baseball from Jay Woolfolk, that's not gonna feel too hot.
No, they're gonna be out.
That's gonna leave them mark.
Feel like our guy from The Office when he gets hit with the snowball. But real quick before we get started here, we always want to talk about our folks over at Mensers, and I know we've been advertising it online. Mensers has as well. We got our great game day giveaway in celebration of Virginia versus Duke on Monday night. Over $300 worth of Mensers goodies. Look at that thing, Jay.
I really I've been needing a new gray hoodie, and when I saw that in there, and then I saw the blue jersey, I'm like, I got the orange jersey.
Home and away.
Well, I was gonna say you need the away jersey too. You gotta have both.
And then who doesn't love a good quarter zip? I mean,
oh man, you could ask my dad. Over the last 4 months or so, I have been getting into the quarter zips. I mean, all the time.
It's a Nike V-Saber hoodie, a Nike replica jersey, a league quarter zip. And by the way, on all these things, if you win, you get to pick your sizes. That's awesome. Kids pennant, bear tee, 47 brand basketball knot hat, sleep soft striped socks. Mason would love that. Clear tote zipper bag. And hey, Jay, clear tote. What can you use that for?
Oh, that's good for football season, basketball season. Any event that you're going to at the university requires clear bags.
That's right.
So anything you want to take into a game, and honestly, West Point High School has adopted that policy, and I believe
a lot of high schools.
Most of the VHSL has probably followed suit. So they're good for anything. But I was just thinking, Jeff, if me, you, or Jack could somehow win this, we could say, all right, Jack, you're so into the quarter zips, we'll let you have that. I really want
the gray hoodie.
And then Jeff, you can get the blue jersey to complete the home and away set, and we can figure out the rest.
Because Mason and Jayden could get the toys.
If folks don't know, I hit the pickup basketball circuit quite often, and that way I can really look the part if I go in the gym with a no t-shirt.
We're talking to an intramural sports champion in that top left corner right there.
You're talking to two.
Yeah, but only one of them actually brags.
Two guards not on tonight. But yeah, you can't beat that. Definitely go register to win. Deadline is 12 noon Monday. Go take your shot at it. As Mensers put out there, shoot your shot.
It's free.
It's free. So tonight we're going to talk a little Virginia Tech, and kind of talk a little bit about Coach Sanchez and the thoughts. You see all kinds of opinions on the X. Jay, what we want to start? We want to start Hokies Virginia, or we want to start Sanchez?
We might as well start with the Hokies. I hate those sons of guns, and I hate them in every way, shape, or form. It pains me.
At that Tech game last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever I interviewed a couple of UVA students, I said, "What do you hate most about Virginia Tech?" And a couple of them, they went, their logo, their colors, their team, their players, their students. Da, 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 da. I mean, I was there for like 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, the game's starting in 5 minutes. You only have a couple minutes. That's how much we all hate the Hokies.
Jeff, did you notice another subtle jab there about being at the game?
Yep.
He's
and
at
Jay,
the game, Big Jack.
It's not.
And Jay, I do like to thank Jack for providing that video footage for us to use on the podcast of fans and their opinions of Virginia Tech. That would have been nothing better than to play a couple clips of that. Thank you, Jack. Thank you to Jack for covering Virginia and providing us absolutely nothing.
Shorts or something. I mean, some Instagram lives. I mean, can we get something? By the way, we are live for the first time ever on Instagram Live right now. Cavalier Connection, going to grow that account quickly. Share this with any Virginia fan that you know. And we're already growing quickly on Facebook and X, and even on the TikTok. We got a little TikTok. We're starting to grow there a little bit. But Instagram live for the first time tonight. So excited about that.
Yeah, so Virginia Tech beat us 75-74 in Charlottesville just a couple weekends ago. Had an opportunity to win the game. Travis is asking, are we going to the Duke game? And unfortunately not. Work night here in Hampton Roads.
Yeah.
Coming in on the next day, it makes it a little bit difficult. Travis, are you going to the game? As I forgot to post it. Thank you for whoever did that. Everybody's like, what comment are we talking about? But if you're watching on YouTube, you are seeing that. I'd like to be able to go. It'll be interesting to see what this team does against Duke. Oh, great. And Travis tells us he is going to be at the game. So cheer loud for the Who's. I don't know if this is Travis from Hampton Roads that lives.
Travis Watson, maybe? Could it be Travis?
Travis? Could be Travis Watson. Could be Travis Fowler.
Yeah.
It could
across
be
the street.
That's who I was asking first.
Lots of Travises we know.
Could be Travis Harcum.
But there will be a Travis in the stands, and we're happy about that because he's got a Virginia logo, so we know it's a good Travis.
That's right. And and before we get first of all, maybe Travis, hopefully he's entered the contest, because if he wins that thing, he'll have that gear. He could probably stop by Mincer's on the way to the game, pick it up, and
absolutely
corner.
He will be he'll be
styling and profiling.
That's right.
Woo!
But we got Virginia Tech on Saturday. I know Virginia is a type of team that likes to look ahead, but we're going to concentrate on Virginia Tech here. Lost by 1 in Charlottesville, but the team played a little bit better in that game, and they've been playing pretty good as of late. This little stretch coming up will really give us a telltale of what we're going to talk about here next with Coach Sanchez. What's it going to take for us to beat Virginia Tech? Jack, what you got?
Well, my main thing is probably the biggest difference last time we played them. Tech shot the ball 52% from 3. They were 11 of 21. They killed us at the 3-point line. Jaden Shutt hit 4 of them. They were not missing. We gave up 75 points, and really a lot of those points were early in the second half. Past that, then once we started stopping them a little bit, obviously we got to limit that 3-point ball. We can't let them keep getting open. That was just terrible. Toby Lowell has been very good for them as of late, especially against us as well. He had 17 points and 5 rebounds. And then I forget who it was. I think it was Patrick Weiser. I want to say whoever their big boy is. He was really good on the boards, and his defense is really good. We got to find a way to facilitate him. But overall, I love what the offense has done so far over the last couple of games. The 3-point shot has been rolling for the Who's. So we got to shoot the ball well. Day-Day Ames, get him the ball. Let him do his thing. Rhodey, we keep talking about it. Last game, 9 assists to 0 turnovers. He's been great. We need him to keep running that point really well. Overall, anytime we go to Tech, it's never an easy situation, but I think this is a game that they can try and get their get back for.
I'm almost certain, Jeff and Jack, that it can't go worse than last year. So you remember last year we went to Castle and lost by 35
something.
or so.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really important that we stay in the game, for the first. If we can get to the 10-minute mark of the first half and be within a possession or two or even ahead, that's going to bode well for us. We can't come out of the gate slow, and whether Virginia Tech is good, bad, or ugly, whether they average a good attendance or they don't, when Virginia goes into the Coliseum, it's going to be packed. It's going to be hopping, and they're gonna make it a tough place to play for us. So we'll see. You're going to have another roadie performance with the turnover ratio is going to have to be really good, as he's been number one in the nation now for, I don't know, what is it, going back 8 or so games.
Yeah.
I mean, the man hasn't had a turnover in.
All right, Jay. All right, let's calm down a little bit there. Let's not hit the jinx.
You gotta be factual.
You gotta talk about it, but we don't have to talk about exactly how long, because before you know it, we're gonna have 5 turnovers in the first 5 minutes Saturday.
Well, it's very possible. It really wouldn't shock me. But we've got to take care of the ball. If we take care of the ball, having Saunders back, because he didn't play in that first game. And I think that hurt us a little bit. Their post players were able to get off a little bit.
You know what? Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, and then that opened up the 3-ball. It really was not a good defensive performance, as you said, Jack. And so I don't expect it to be easy. It's a winnable game. I don't expect us to win, but it is a winnable game. And if Sanchez wants to keep the job, as we're going to talk about soon, he needs to win this one.
For sure. A guy who I'd love to see get going really quick, and I'll get to you, Dad. I'm sorry. I would love to see Buchanan have a monstrous game. I think this is his kind of game. Kind of get fired up in the away environment, have a tough crowd, have him dunk a couple times, maybe get a couple blocks. This is Buchanan's game, I think, to kind of – and he has grown on me a lot over the last few months. Man, if we could get Buchanan to have a red-hot game, get him going to close out the end of the season, I think that'd be great for him.
Buchanan has to stay out of foul trouble. That's what got him in the Virginia Tech game.
Mm-hmm. And, we were in a lot of foul trouble last time.
I would like to see Kofi get going. Kofi's he hasn't offered much on the offensive end for a few games now.
We've been playing small too. We definitely ever since Saunders was out, we were playing a lot small.
But we've been playing 2 bigs. We've been playing Kofi and Buchanan, or Kofi and Robinson, or Robinson and Buchanan. I like that. I've liked that look.
Yeah, I do too. And I like Tay Murray getting in there too. Tay Murray's game is definitely developed. I mean, you have him finishing at the basket now and hitting those threes I love getting Tay Murray in there too.
Tane is one of those guys, within about 5 minutes of him being in the game, if he's going to, don't waste minutes on him. If he comes out and plays poorly from the jump,
he's done for the game.
It's not a Tane game, and get him out. And don't put him back in. I mean, that's it. You get your first run, and we're not going to play you anymore if you don't.
Then if he comes in, he hits a couple baskets, we might keep him in a little bit.
Right, it's a Tane game, and you can play him, and he'll give you some good minutes. But IMAC's got to shoot the ball well. He's been doing that pretty consistently. What I really would like to see is IMAC put together a game. He's been 14 in the first half, 4 in the second. 18 in the first half, 2 in the second.
He's always starting out hot. Yeah.
We need a game where he kind of carries us all the way through, and whether it be at Virginia Tech or Duke at home on Monday, those are the type games. I don't even think Duke is winnable. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. I don't think that's a winnable game at all. I don't think we can. I think if we played them 10 times, they beat us 10 times. So if we played them 100 times, maybe we beat them 3 or 4. But I just don't see that as a very winnable game for us. So I think this Virginia Tech game is huge, because if you lose this one, and then I'm assuming you're going to lose on Monday night, now where you've been playing well, do you start to kind of lose the team because the season starts to slip away a little bit? I mean, right now it's, NIT at best, right? I mean, unless you get to the tournament like NC State and run the table, and I think the NIT is a little bit of a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I was planning to keep Ron, I would turn down any other bid besides an NIT. I'm sure there may be offers like a CBI or CIT or CTI, whatever that tournament is. I wouldn't play in any of those. Yeah, if I was planning to get rid of Ron, I wouldn't play in those just so I could go ahead and make the change and maybe hire somebody or whatever. But if I was keeping Ron, I'd want to get as much practice with the guys as I could, and I would go ahead and announce it. But because I would think they would know by then what they were going to do if it was going to be Ron.
There's a source, and I don't know the credibility of the source. I mean, that has told us that this individual spoke with a insider at UVA, and he introduced him to Jack at the game, and he says that the guy told him they'd have a decision made by March 15th. I'm like, how would they have to? And this is an employee, and unless they're like, either that means, for me, that would say they're keeping Sanchez, but this individual said they're not going to keep Sanchez, and was naming coaches, and the number one coach named was Ed Cooley out of Georgetown. And Shaka, of course, this individual said that brought up Shaka, and he's like, that's a long shot. And I think they'd love to have him, but it's a long shot. And then he asked about Bryce Drew, and they were like, Bryce Drew's happy at Baylor. They mentioned about Shaka. Shaka's happy where he's at. And then there was one more name he mentioned to me.
Was it the VCU Odom?
No, it wasn't Odom. That name didn't even come up. And but I mean, who knows? The team has been playing better. The offense has looked better, but this is a stretch of games coming up. Like you said, if you lose to Virginia Tech, then you're playing Duke at home, and I'm with you, Jay. I don't think that's winnable. That's a game where if we beat Virginia Tech, we hope that, if for Sanchez's sake, he needs to look like we're a college basketball team and not go out there like the Redskins and Eagles on Monday Night Football when Michael Vick hit us for 90 on the first play. Yeah. We didn't look like an NFL team that day.
Or just going back to last year's Duke-Virginia game at Duke. That was an embarrassment.
Right. And that was at Duke, too.
Keep in mind, it was all of the things that we talked about. Castle last year, Duke last year, all under our beloved Coach Bennett. So give Sanchez a little bit of a break on that.
No, when I say look like a team, I'm saying you lose by 20. It's okay.
Yeah,
we don't want to get beat by
lost to Duke by 20.
Correct. We don't want to go out in there and get beat by 40 points.
Right.
At
home, especially on Big Monday.
Yep. And Travis there. Travis is he's worth at least 10. Travis, you're worth at least 10. I know. So we need you loud and we need you proud in there.
Yeah, I'm after Duke is Carolina on the road.
Yep.
That is a winnable game, but you probably don't win it.
And then at Wake Forest,
Davis should be on the hot seat. I know he's
He is. I'll tell you what, the North Carolina fan base is very upset with him right now. A lot of them want him fired. I know a couple fans myself. And then also I've heard stuff from people, the donors and stuff are not happy at all. They're ready to get rid of him right now. They don't have any patience for him. So he's definitely on the hot seat, I'd say.
He's a UNC guy. I mean, played there. Me and Jeff remember him well from his playing days. And,
and I have a buddy who's a Carolina fan, and he's nervous about letting him go because he says there's that he's got 3 5-stars coming in, like the recruiting class.
Yeah, they got a monstrous recruiting class coming. The 5-star they just got a couple weeks ago looks really good. He's a forward. He looks really good.
UNC, Travis has let UNC have Cooley.
Cooley would not excite me. I'd rather have Sanchez, if I'm being honest.
Honestly,
yeah.
Let's name some names and then say Sanchez or. So Sanchez or Cooley. Where are you guys at?
Sanchez.
Well, I'm definitely Sanchez. Okay. Now you call me in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I might be like, man, after we're now from 12-12 to 12 and 20, and we're looking bad, maybe I say something different. But no question, Sanchez.
All right. What about Sanchez or Odom?
And
That's
that's
a good
tough.
one.
That's tough for me. So you asked me on February the 13th. I'm saying Sanchez. And I think Odom's potentially something special, but yeah.
He's also young. He's got that high-powered kind of offense, just like Shaka. Really, not just like, but very similar to Shaka. He's got VCU playing well. But right now, I'm gonna say
He's not
Sanchez.
that young. He's not
I
that
was
young.
going to say
Late 40s, early 50s, but
I'm glad
For
Jack said
college
he's young.
coaching. For college coaching.
I'll take Odom there. All right, Sanchez or I mean, I think this one's an easy one. Sanchez or Shaka.
I'm taking
I'll take
Shaka.
Shaka. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, me too. Let's see. What are some other names? I mean, of course, I'd rather have Drew, but that name doesn't seem. I've read that. I don't think that's realistic. Drew from Baylor. But
Yeah.
what was the other name you mentioned, Joe?
No, that's who I mentioned was Bryce Drew.
Okay.
But no, I mean, and I'm a Sanchez guy. Dougie Fresh and TW, I see have joined up on Instagram. Welcome in, guys. And I know those are Sanchez guys as well. TW. So those are your hosts of the Locker Room Access. TW.
Are there comments, Jeff? Because I'm not seeing them.
I'm on this. No, you can't. I'm on Instagram looking at.
You can't see him on StreamYard.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And so, real quick, I was going to mention, I went on the Locker Room Access with those guys after the Virginia Tech game 2 weeks ago, and TW really made a good case for Sanchez for me. And D Fresh says, "What up, all Ron?" And I've turned the tide myself, and and y'all know I've been a Sanchez guy here the last few weeks. I'm like, yeah, I think he might be the guy for us. Like he's been put in a tough situation, coming in, and
I'll be honest, I was anti-Ron until I watched the Locker Room Access where you were on, Jeff. Unfortunately, and my apologies to the Locker Room Access guys, because I was, as I don't know if Jeff told you, but I was driving to Atlantic City for a tournament for my son was in with his dojo, and I was in a lot of traffic. It would have been impossible. But TW, I got to give you credit. Like, I was anti-Ron completely, and then I listened to your take, and I'm like, he makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And you can see how much Ron wants it.
Yeah, and he started to put. I think he started to put his own fingerprint on the program a little bit too. Now they're running a little more. He's not running the exact same.
And so I was going to say, like, I like Colin Cowherd, and one thing he always says is, yeah, you get criticized if you change your opinion, but when you get new information, like, what are you supposed to be, like a doctor, and you get new test results? Are you not going to give them the new information? Like, well, we diagnosed you with this, but now we've got tests that say you don't have it anymore. You're not going to change your opinion. Of course, when you get new information, it's okay to change your opinion. And I think that's where you are, Jeff, going over to the Sanchez side. And the new information for me is that they look completely different on the offensive end. I don't know if that is Ron just kind of putting in his stuff and playing more loose. I don't know if it's the guys buying in. But the turnaround offensively from early in the season to now, I mean, it's night and day.
For me, I mean, it's the way they're taking care of the ball too. The turnovers have been and the rebounding was so good in that whoever we just played Saturday. I can't even remember. Georgia Tech. Yes, the rebounding was so good offensively and defensively.
One thing that's very different with Sanchez from Coach Bennett was the offensive glass. Because I mean, he's been sending guys to the glass, and with playing with the Robinson and Blake and Kofi, all three of those big guys like that who can get offensive rebounds, it's allowed us to get some second chance baskets, which has been pretty good. And it helps, when you have a team that in the past, especially in this year, where we've had stretches where, 5-minute scoring droughts and things like that. But sometimes you can get an easy basket that way, or get a foul called, or
get yourself out of a bad run. Yeah,
kick one out to a wide open, somebody lurking out at the 3-point line.
And from all I've heard and from all I've read, if they give Sanchez the job, we have a really good shot of getting Mallory back in the fold for next year.
Yeah, I know. He's been taking all these visits.
If you get him, what other dominoes may fall that you're not thinking about? What transfers may want to come in? Because let's face facts, if you go away from Sanchez, just assume that probably 3/4 of the roster is going to go out with him.
Yeah, I'd expect so, yeah.
So you won't recognize the team right as it is right now. It'll be totally different next year. Could be better, could be worse. I mean, the grass isn't always greener. And so my hesitancy is that you have to commit. Like, you can't just go one. Like, I read somebody said, "Oh, just give Sanchez one more year." You can't do that. Like, you can't.
No, for recruiting sake, you just can't.
Yeah, you have to give him 4 or 5 in a contract. So it's tough, but I've definitely come closer to the 50-50 side of at least being open to Sanchez coming back as my preference.
And I gotta say,
go ahead, Jack.
I was just gonna say, I think right now, and of course we gotta see the season play out the rest of the way, because for all we know, like my dad said, we can lose out, and none of us are gonna be on Sanchez. As of right now, for me, with the exception of if we could get Shaka, I think I'm all in on Sanchez. Give me Sanchez for another couple of years. For me, it's just the young core we have. We have such a good group. It seems like the culture in the locker room, they play together. You could even tell after the Tech losses, after some of the rough losses, you could tell in post-game press conferences, the players still love each other. They've played really well with each other over the last couple of games. I think we have such a good young core. And if Sanchez comes back, I'd expect most of them, maybe not everybody, but most of them to stay. I mean, you have Robinson flying around as a redshirt freshman. Obviously, McNeely, we have another year. Rhodey. I mean, the core is good, and I'm all in on Sanchez if we can keep him.
All right, Jack, but I got a question for you.
What's that?
How many wins does it take to stay there? Because if you said if you lose out, you're certainly not there. Well, let me read through the schedule the rest of the way.
I gotcha. Go for it.
Duke or Virginia Tech, obviously at Virginia Tech. Duke at Virginia. Virginia at UNC. We'll be all right. So far, I'm assuming we're an underdog at Virginia Tech. Underdog on Monday. Underdog at UNC. Virginia at Wake Forest will be an underdog. Clemson at Virginia will be an underdog. Florida State at Virginia will be an underdog. Virginia at Syracuse will probably be like a pick 'em. What do you have to win of those 7 to say Sanchez is the guy? Keep in mind, what is our record right now?
12-12.
12-12.
We're 12-12. So anything less than 4-3, and you're looking at a losing record. So what gets you there?
For me, you have to beat Virginia Tech. I think that is such a huge game for Sanchez.
At Virginia Tech, no guarantees there.
You definitely have to beat Syracuse. Road. Yes, on the road.
Okay.
You definitely have to beat Syracuse to close out the season. That's also on the road. Syracuse, I mean, they've played well the last couple of weeks. They're still not a very good basketball team. Florida State's a winnable game, I'd say. And then North Carolina is an iffy one because, I don't know, they should be a winnable game. But, we're going to have trouble going to UNC. So it's a good question. I'd say you win 3. I think if you win at least 3 and you don't go out spiraling down. For example, you don't lose to Duke by 30-plus points. You don't lose to Clemson by 20-plus points. You don't get blown out by a North Carolina or Virginia Tech. I think 3 wins were there.
Do you want the positive or the negative? The positive is Dougie Fresh says Jack knows. Great points, and he wants to recognize the team. I give you the negative. Hunter says If we suck Saturday, everyone will be off the Sanchez train again. We beat 3 bleep teams and lost to an 11-13 Virginia Tech at home of the last 4. Remember, the ACC is awful this year, and let's move on.
We know
And
the
it is
ACC is
something.
bad. It is bad. It's terrible.
It is something to think about.
Yeah, here's my point, Jack. And either you're on Ron or you're not. It really shouldn't matter with these 7 games, because if you're telling me these 7 games decide his future, then I'm gonna tell you he has no chance, because we're going no better than 2-5. I mean, I'd be shocked if we go better than 2-5 in those final 7. Could we?
You're right. I think my thing is you just can't spiral out of control to the point where you're losing like we were against Cal and SMU when we were on that losing skid that we were on, where we're losing by double digits every single game.
No, the Notre Dame.
That's really bad. The Notre Dame game too.
That was the brutal game, and this is the one thing about Sanchez for me. On the positive side, as bad as that game was, I thought the team was going to pack it up for the season, and they came back and they've played hard since. So Sanchez has the locker room. Hunter says no, but I'm in the Sanchez camp. But he makes a good point, and everybody that's in the not everybody. There's a lot of people in the Sanchez camp, and things could look bad on Saturday, and then the same people will be. I've been out of the Sanchez camp, and I've joined the Sanchez camp, so.
That's the thing. I don't want to say I can't say right now. And it really doesn't. I'm not going to say the last 7 don't matter, but they shouldn't carry so much weight, because either you believe that Sanchez is going to be the guy for the program and is the right guy, or you believe he's not. In a 7-game stretch where the kids don't know. Like, you're not, I don't care how much they want to. Like, that has to mentally mess with you.
No question.
When you're a college athlete. Like, I don't know if my coach is going to be here or not. How does that not impact your play? So I don't want to be too harsh on Sanchez for this last 7-game stretch.
But with that being said, I do think that team does believe in Sanchez. I will say that. They certainly love Sanchez. I think they certainly want him to stay, and they want to keep that core together.
Travis says, win 3 more games in the ACC tournament, you'll be able to keep him. Funny thing about that,
the ACC tournament.
Funny thing about that is that sounds like Jay and I's childhood for some of those seasons. You know, it's like, when you're on the bubble, the team's on the bubble, and they say if they can just win 1 in the ACC tournament, they can get in.
Well, even last year.
Last year. Last year, we were like, we win 1, we're in. But then all of a sudden we win 1, and you had a couple spots. So it's like, oh, my goodness, we might have to beat NC State. Clearly, that went well for us. So, but I do think it is important to win an ACC game, too, ACC tournament game.
I don't think it's important. I almost look at this year as like it like, Ron Sanchez. He's been there for freaking ever. I mean, I know he left, went to Charlotte, came back, yada yada, blah blah blah, whatever. Like, Ron Sanchez. Either you believe in him or you don't. And I think I read, and I couldn't read the article because I don't have a subscription to David Teal, but I want to say he put out an article tonight saying that the university had retained the coaching search people. And like, does that mean it's for
what does
sure?
That mean?
Like, Sanchez is not the guy, or whatever. But look, it really only matters what Carla thinks.
Yeah.
I mean, what does Carla think? And Tony's in her ear a lot. Coach Bennett's in her ear a lot. He is.
Yeah, and if you think he's not, you're crazy. He certainly is at least chirping it a little bit, I would say.
This is the guy right here, Jay, that I couldn't remember.
Byington. I would like that hire if I was Virginia. I would certainly like that hire. The guy at Drake, I don't know a whole lot about, but Byington is a Virginia kid. Not from UVA, but he's from Virginia, the state.
The coach at Drake was another one that was mentioned to me.
Okay.
But, so, Jay, you made a good point. 7 games left. You can't judge it off of those 7 wins or losses. I think how the team plays, You could judge it off of. I think that the first half of the season or first 3/4 of the season, just looking at the offense, and once again, Hunter might be right that it's just ACC poor play. We have played weak opponents.
Sure.
That the offenses look so much better. They're playing different since the Notre Dame game.
It's so different.
And it's like, was Sanchez still kind of caught up? I read somewhere, and I don't know if it's true. You know, we read so much crap. You know, the fake news, the real news, but that maybe Coach Sanchez and Coach Bennett weren't always on the exact same page of offensively, and and maybe Coach Sanchez and his brain was like felt pressure to run Coach Bennett's style, and now it just looks like it's just opened up a little bit. And I don't know. I think our team.
I'm sure I've told you this. You know, when I was coaching ball at Smithfield, I was the JV coach my first year there.
Legendary tenure.
I did not get the job until, tryouts were in November. I think they told me in October, hey, we need a JV boys coach. You told us you would coach. They're yours. But they were debating between the girls and the boys because they were both open. They eventually gave me the boys. I had about 2 weeks with the varsity coach who was not in the building. And he basically said, I want you to run my stuff. I don't even know what your stuff is, coach. Like, what is your stuff? You got to give me something. Like, what is your stuff? What do you run? Because I have stuff that I run. But if you want me to get the JV guys ready for you, then okay. So first 4 games of the year, we go out and we get blitzed by everybody to the point where the AD comes in the locker room after the game. Again, it was against Lafayette. I'll never forget this. They had one kid that actually ended up playing at Coastal Carolina, St. Cyr, and we played him in the NCAA tournament when we played Coastal Carolina. But they beat us by 40 in Lafayette, and they were pressing in the fourth quarter. And I remember after that game, AD comes in the locker room. He's like mad, says he's going to start. He's mad at the team, but he comes in and says he's going to start coming to watch practice. And I'm like, okay, so this guy, it's my first year at the school. He thinks I don't know anything. So I basically said, scrap that. I'm going to run what I know. And we started running. I started practicing, drilling, everything I'd always coached. And we finished the year 12-8. And I told the guys when we play them again, if we can get up by 100, I promise you, we will not pull off the press. We will beat them by 100 if we can. And we were beating them by 20 in the first half. And I almost got a tech because right in front of me, they just pushed one of our kids. And the ref goes, well, I would call it, but you're pressing up by 20. You're killing them. You need to call off the dogs. I'm like, you don't know what's going on here, man. They killed us. I'm not calling anything. You call the fouls when they happen. But my point is, like, if Sanchez is trying to do something he didn't really believe in, you're not going to get the results you want. And so if that's the case, that's a good point.
No, absolutely.
So I guess it's TBD for us. I'm a Sanchez right here. I'm to be determined, though. I'm still a neutral voter. I can still be swayed. TW swayed me a couple weeks ago, and we'll see how the Virginia Tech game goes. Just wanted to get to one more thing while we're on before we get off the air. Couple things. Number one, we have some great guests upcoming here in the next couple weeks. Hopefully, we'll have. I think we're going to have Joe Reed. Hopefully next week, former Hoop football player,
one of the best kick returners of all time.
Cafaro from basketball.
Yeah, Poppy.
We're hoping to have him possibly really soon, or it might be a couple weeks out as he's traveling with the national team overseas. Got some guests coming. If you have any connections to get us some additional guests, we're always on the prowl looking for guests. We love former players, former broadcasters,
coaches, anything.
It doesn't matter who it is. If they got the Virginia connection, we love to get them on. And, we're coming up here on baseball season, which is exciting. We're ranked
Wolf
high.
folks got the rock.
But we during baseball season sometimes we'll probably have some good football off season stuff going on, and there's gonna be some baseball talk, but also sometimes the guests can dry up for us maybe, and so we'd like to have guests on because it seems like it gets a lot of attention and folks really enjoy listening to our guests. And so if you have any connections or anybody you'd like to see us try to get on, and sometimes we're given some information and we reach out and we're trying to get those people on. The second thing, if you have any topics you want us to discuss, let us know. We'd love to have some new topics. We've talked about, some Mount Rushmores and some things like that of some episodes we love to do and get some of you guys' opinions on. And also, I think we're going to do some Twitter fan stuff. So if you're a Twitter or YouTube, or if you're a Cavalier Connection fan and you want to come on with us and give us your thoughts, your opinion.
We got a couple that we've reached out to. One is a definite, and one is still debating. We would break the internet if we got our boy Two Guard.
But anyway, if you're just let us know. Hunter, I want to get Hunter here, right? He says Ben McCullum is the Drake coach, 21-2 in his first year. Most of his success at the D2 level. Overall record 410-93. Four natties and 43 years old. That's impressive.
That is impressive.
I don't care if you're D2, D3. 410 wins is a lot of wins.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so just a couple of those things. Throw us some ideas out for topics you'd like to hear us discuss, and we want to get topics out there that you guys want to get involved in too. We love to do it live. We can do live, and folks can chime in. I appreciate Travis and Hunter chiming in tonight. On Instagram, we had TW chime in. We had Dougie Fresh chime in. There were some additional listeners. So reach out to us if you tuned in on Instagram tonight. It's our first time being able to get live on there. And other than that, any final thoughts from the two of you?
Congratulations to the women's softball team today. 4-1 win over 23rd ranked Kentucky. 10 a.m. first pitch tomorrow against Auburn, another SEC school. So they get underway early, and then it's not long after they go. It'll be the baseball team first pitching at
noon, right? I'm pretty sure it's noon.
I was thinking 2, but I could be wrong.
It's either noon or 2. You're right. I got it right here in a second here. But yeah, no, baseball is exciting. Woolfolk will be on the mound. It's going to be a lot of fun for baseball. A lot of expectations for baseball season this year. It's 12:30. That's what I got here.
Okay. Sounds good.
Against Michigan and Puerto Rico.
Yeah, softball right into baseball, and that'll get you off to a good start on your Friday if you can do that.
No doubt. All right. Well, thanks to everyone for tuning in tonight, and we'll catch you guys on Sunday. I know I will be, potentially Jay. I haven't even talked to Jack about it yet. Duke Basketball Podcast would like to do a little collab with us. Jay, please say their name.
5-point play.
5-point play. So you could catch us there, and then we'll be having some stuff coming out next week. Don't forget to register to win our Mincer's basket. Over $300 worth of gear. Contest. You have deadline is noon on Monday. Super easy. Go to our Facebook page, go to our Twitter page, go to Mincer's Instagram, Mincer's Facebook. You click the link, it'll take you less than a minute. You can be a pecker, and it's going to take you less than a minute to get signed up.
A couple more things, Jeff. We haven't said this in a while. If you're retiring soon and you want to get into a gold-backed IRA, CavalierGold.com, CavalierGold.com. Go visit there. Also, if you think, man, these guys talk about Mincer's a lot, they love Mincer's. We do love Mincer's. Well, we're always looking for other places and businesses to introduce ourselves to. So if you have a business and you want us to get introduced to your product, let us know, and we'd be happy to talk about that as well.
All right. Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.
Beat Tech.